A hidden dark ride in the basement of Europa Park, one of the wettest water rides in the entire park, a wildly swinging Viking ship, and an entire Nordic street full of dining options, shops and atmosphere. Welcome to Immersive Attractions. Today we are exploring Scandinavia at Europa Park. In this video, we will give you a full guide of the Scandinavian themed area and our honest review. Let's dive in. What makes Scandinavia so unique isn't just the architecture or the attractions, it's the overall atmosphere. Out of all themed areas in Europa Park, this one probably feels the most like an actual city center. Walking through Scandinavia almost feels like strolling through a real Scandinavian pedestrian street, surrounded by cozy Nordic buildings, little cafes, restaurants, water features, and hidden corners everywhere. It's one of those areas where you don't just rush from ride to ride. You actually want to slow down, explore, grab a coffee, sit down for a while, and simply enjoy the atmosphere.
Now, if you look a little closer, you'll obviously notice that behind many of these beautiful facades are sponsor shops, game stalls, and merchandise stores. And yes, sometimes it can feel like the visuals are a little more magical than what's actually inside the buildings. Another interesting thing about Scandinavia is that this themed area is the only one in the whole Europa Park that combines several countries into one area: Norway, Sweden, Denmark and Finland. On one hand, that creates a very cohesive Nordic aesthetic. But on the other hand, it also means Europa Park kind of used up the opportunity to create separate themed areas for those countries in the future, which honestly could have been really interesting because each of them has its own culture and style. And of course, there's also an important part of the area's history. Large parts of Scandinavia were heavily damaged during the tragic fire connected to Piraten in Batavia in 2018. But what's really impressive is how lovingly the area was rebuilt afterwards. And even today, one of the surviving Viking figures can still be found inside the themed area as a tribute to the original version of Scandinavia and its history.
Let's talk about the attractions. One of the hidden gems of Scandinavia is Snorri Touren, a small dark ride hidden away in the basement of the themed area. Honestly, if you didn't know it was there, you could easily walk past it. While it's not one of our favorite dark rides in the park, we still appreciate it. As huge dark ride fans, we always love seeing smaller hidden attractions like this, especially when they are tucked away in unexpected places. If you want a deeper review of Snorri Touren, we actually made a full dark ride check video about it. Then we have the flat ride, Vindjammer, the giant swinging ship. This might be one of the most fun flat rides in the entire park. The ride itself looks fantastic above the little lake, and especially when the ship is completely full, the energy becomes super infectious. Everybody starts cheering, laughing and reacting together as the ship swings higher and higher. It's just one of those simple but incredibly fun family thrill rides. And of course, we have the major attraction of the area, Fjord-Rafting. Especially during warm weather, this ride is an absolute blast. Also, you should definitely expect to get soaked if you're unlucky. The interactive water effects can get pretty brutal. But visually, Fjord-Rafting is beautiful. The ride winds through the Scandinavian facades, past waterfalls and rockwork, and even includes a tiny little dark ride section inside a glowing cave with music playing. It's just a really fun and unique water attraction. During winter, Fjord-Rafting closes and the entire area transforms into a Nordic-style Christmas market with an ice skating rink, which gives Scandinavia a completely different but equally cozy atmosphere.
Now let's move on to food and dining. And here we have to talk about one of our absolute favorite restaurants in all of Europa Park, Fjord Restaurant. Now surprisingly, the main reason we love Fjord Restaurant actually isn't the food itself. The food can honestly be a bit hit or miss. There are definitely some really good dishes, especially the fish soup created by Danish TV chef Brian Boysen, which we first tried during the kitchen party event. That soup is genuinely fantastic and feels fresh and high quality. Other dishes can feel a little more like standard theme park cafeteria food. We tried the Swedish meatballs, for example, and while they were fine, they honestly weren't dramatically better than IKEA quality. But the real reason we constantly return to Fjord Restaurant is the atmosphere. Our biggest tip here? Take your tray upstairs. Up there are these incredibly cozy little seating areas that somehow stay peaceful even on crowded park days. And from some of the windows, you even get beautiful views over Scandinavia and sometimes even over Bluefire. For us, Fjord Restaurant has honestly become less of a restaurant and more of a comfort spot inside the park. Sometimes we don't even go there for lunch. We just grab a hot drink, sit upstairs, relax for a while, and enjoy the atmosphere. And speaking of food highlights, we also have to mention Fiskehuset. The little fish stand used to be operated by the German fish brand Gosh, but is now part of the Brian Boysen and Mug concept. And after being skeptical at first, we actually ended up loving the new Danish style creations. That said, one thing we really miss is the old opening hours. Back in the Gosh days, Fiskehuset opened very early, which meant grabbing a salmon sandwich basically became our Europa Park breakfast tradition. Now it only opens around lunchtime, which sadly means we don't end up getting one nearly as often anymore. We also tried the Granini Saftbutikk. And yes, once again the sponsor presence becomes very obvious here. The cocktails weren't bad at all, and they also offer wraps and snacks, but overall they are simply better places in the park if you're looking for really good drinks and cocktails. And then there's Huset, the ice cream shop famous for its bubble waffles. We tried them once for our video and honestly, they were okay. The ice cream itself was decent, but since it's basically standard Langnese ice cream combined with pre-made waffles, the price feels pretty steep at over 8 euros. And eating them without covering yourself in melting ice cream is honestly a challenge on its own.
Now let's talk about some of the special details that make Scandinavia stand out even more. One of the most beautiful buildings in the area is the Scandinavian church. And this isn't just decoration, it's an actual functioning church with even weddings taking place inside. And even more interesting, the church was a gift from the Danish Bakken, the oldest amusement park in the world. Finally, while it technically doesn't belong to Scandinavia itself, we also highly recommend taking a ride on the monorail if you want some of the best views over the area. Floating above Fjord-Rafting and the Scandinavian rooftops honestly gives you a completely different perspective of the themed area. So overall, Scandinavia is absolutely one of our favorite themed areas in all of Europa Park. And compared to some of the newer themed areas, Scandinavia offers a huge variety of rides, restaurants, hidden details, and experiences. Yes, there are some points you can criticize. Some interiors don't quite live up to the beautiful facades. The sponsor shops and the game stalls are definitely not our thing. But despite all of that, Europa Park still managed to create one of the most atmospheric and immersive places in the entire resort. So, what do you think about Scandinavia? And what is your favorite themed area in Europa Park? Let us know in the comments. If you liked that video, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the bell to never miss one of our upcoming videos. Now, let's find the next world to get lost in.